Scruffy here, what you need in the building, how everybody doing? Now we're gonna talk some boxing. As you can see from the title, we're talking about confidence. Confidence, which is really cool. When we talk about Loma versus Teofimo Lopez. But we're also going to talk about some other young boxers who've been talking stuff. And all of a sudden, we're not sure about where they're at. Okay, we're gonna talk about them because these two boxers also had their first loss. So we're going to talk about that. First of all, let's talk about Lopez versus Lomachenko. So we saw an interview on ESPN where Lomachenko and Lopez were interviewed. And the first thing I noticed is supreme confidence by both fighters. It's not a cocky confidence, it's a supreme confidence by Vasily Lomachenko and by Teofimo Lopez. And yes, my eyes are slightly red. I'm not the best of health still, but I'll get back there. And what I noticed is that supreme confidence. Why supreme confidence is important going into a fight, and not somebody going into a fight where they already respect a fighter or afraid of a fighter. And this goes for all boxers. You know, and why that's important. I'm going to digress for a minute. Mike Tyson. A lot of fighters, when they had to face Mike Tyson, they had too much respect for him. The guys that beat Mike Tyson didn't have respect for him. Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. They saw him as another opponent. And you have to prove to me, is their attitude, that you are what you say you are. You got to prove to me that you are what you say you are. Okay? That's ultimate confidence in the sense that I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in what I can do in that ring. Now, they say you could do all this in the ring. I got to see that for my own self. You're going to have to prove that to me. That's the confidence I see with Lomachenko and with Teofimo Lopez. Lomachenko having all this experience, vast experience in boxing and so on. He's seen Teofimo Lopez as a threat. He clearly said that because he said, "Oh, I think this is going to be a chess match." That's what he's looking forward to. So he respects Teofimo Lopez. If you haven't realized that by now, and just listen to what Teofimo Lopez has been saying in that interview, he respects it. But the thing about it is, Teofimo Lopez don't respect Lomachenko. He sees him as another opponent who has to prove to him that he is what they claim he says he is. That's huge. And I think about Marcos Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather. Marcos Maidana was not in awe of Floyd Mayweather, even though he's a big fan of Floyd Mayweather. Marcos was not in awe of Floyd Mayweather at all going into that first fight. Marcos Maidana, when Floyd tried to talk his shit talk, he came back, put hands on Floyd and shit, pushed him off and stuff. Because you got to prove to me you are what you say you are. That's how you have to approach it mentally. And Marcos Maidana did exceptionally well in that fight against Floyd Mayweather. Okay, he fought his fight. You know. Now here's why Teofimo Lopez will have this confidence. There's an elephant in the room that nobody's talking about with Lomachenko. It's like they erased it from his history. They're talking about, oh, he's this great fighter and he's so good and nobody, they don't see nobody beating him. That's the aura of the fighter. But everybody forgets slow ass, old Orlando Salido. Everybody just leaves that elephant out the room. It's as if Salido never faced Lomachenko. Oh, he grew from the Salido fight. No. You have to factor that in. This is not Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez. For all those people who are saying, this is Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez, you're lying to yourself. Floyd wasn't looking like that and getting touched up like that in his last couple of fights before he faced Canelo. He wasn't looking like that. Okay, Cotto touched him. Cotto touched him. Cotto did touch him. Guerrero couldn't put a finger on him. Right? Before the Canelo fight. Victor Ortiz couldn't put a finger on him before that. But you look at Pedroza put hands on Lopez, Lomachenko, right? Then he had the fight with Corolla, and he went through Corolla, but Corolla wasn't a world champion, right? A guy's not a world champion. You're not supposed to be having such a tough time with him. And then, of course, Luke Campbell put hands on him. All right? Ain't nobody put hands on Floyd going into the Canelo fight. Guerrero couldn't touch him, right? So Floyd had this status, even though he was old, he had this status of being untouchable. Floyd never lost a fight to nobody before he went into his fight against EE. His record was, he really was unbeatable. Hey, look, that was his record. In fact, not just unbeatable. He was like beating everybody. Right? Rematched one guy before that. Two guys. Because no, one guy. Right? So this is not a fair comparison by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, Floyd and Lomachenko share some things in common, but it's not a comparison that we use. Now, I heard Teddy Atlas say that Canelo has slow feet. He doesn't have slow feet. He's flat-footed. He's a flat-footed fighter. Okay, he doesn't have slow feet. He's flat-footed, but he's explosive. His feet can move very quickly, but he fights flat-footed. Okay, he don't fight with it. The heel of his foot off the ground. But having said that, he can box on his toes. He can move around the ring if he has to. Now, people are saying Teofimo Lopez is a flat-footed fighter, which is not true. He's not. He is fought flat-footed in certain fights, but he's not a flat-footed fighter. Floyd fought flat-footed in certain fights. Against Miguel Cotto, fought flat-footed to get more leverage in his punches. That'll make him a flat-footed fighter. And I guess because people have seen Teo mostly in the pros, knocking people out and stuff, they think he's flat-footed. But he's not. There's a lot about Teofimo Lopez we don't know. But if you've seen his amateur fights, you begin to understand him a lot more and what he can do. But there's a lot in the pros we have not seen of Teofimo Lopez. He's an enigma in the sense that we haven't seen everything. With Canelo, we saw a lot. And even though Canelo has put new wrinkles into his game, effectively we've seen what Canelo was when he faced Floyd. Teofimo Lopez, you have not seen he has not been able to produce and show you everything that he can do in that ring in his few fights that he's had in his career. But what he has shown us, without a shadow of a doubt, and I was listening to Teddy Atlas, what he's shown us without a shadow of a doubt, he's more than capable of facing Lomachenko based on the tools he has, and also he's way above the levels of competition he has faced. Because what he has shown that competition, even Nakatani, that he had a hard time because he didn't put him away, okay, and he got hit with some punches, that is true, but he won basically almost every round against Nakatani. Nakatani didn't belong in the ring with him either. Let's be real. So what did Teofimo Lopez show us? The competition he has faced so far is nowhere near his level. They don't belong in the ring with him. And that's Richard Comey too. He didn't belong in the ring with Teo. Now, I heard Lomachenko say that Teofimo Lopez, he had a lucky shot because it was early in the fight and it was a lucky shot that he had with Richard Comey. That was set up. Those were set up shots. Those are set up shots. And he actually, if you look at, round one and round two, if you look at how he set up the shots, you would understand why those are set up plays. So if Vasily Lomachenko was saying that, and he still even said it in the interview, which I don't understand why he would say something like that. He knows boxing a lot better than that. Um, those aren't set up. Those are not lucky shots. There's no such thing as luck in boxing. Sometimes there is, but very, very rarely there's luck at that level in boxing. All right, he set him up, and he realized the shot was available since early in the rounds when he started throwing the shot. Um, and Lomachenko, he better know. He better know because Teofimo Lopez said, okay, I guess you're gonna see a lot of lucky shots then against you. There is a history with Lomachenko. He has been beaten, and when a guy has been beaten, no matter how he's learning off of his experience, it tells us that the style that he has. And now there's another thing people say, Lomachenko, he can't fight off the back foot. That's not true. And I heard Teofimo Lopez say that, and I was like, oh hell no, that's not true. He has had success. Of course, Orlando Salido made him fight off the back foot at times, but you're not going to just make him fight off the back foot all the time. Teddy Atlas was advising that Lomachenko should fight off the back foot, against Teofimo. I don't think that's a very good idea for the reason that the way how Teofimo Lopez will approach, if you can't fight Teofimo Lopez off the front foot like he normally does, he's going to have a hell of a time trying to defend him off the back foot. Because see, Lomachenko, the thing with Lomachenko is this. He don't have the shell defense. He don't use the shell. So if you corner him, his thing is footwork. And if you pin him down and corner him in a corner and you start working him, especially his body, he really don't have nothing. His feet are his major defense. It's his feet. But if he can weather the storm of being pinned in a corner, not allowed to escape, and a guy working him, he should do well. He's a tough guy. And like I said before, he's confident. He's been down this road. He's tough and he's strong. And so even if he gets dropped, I expect him to get back up, unless he's really been, Teal really lights him up with a shot, then he's not going to get back up. But he's strong. He's very, very strong. And people are underestimating him, and he has the will to win. So I don't expect Lomachenko to just go quietly out into the night like that. No, I don't expect it at all. And he has confidence. He has so much wealth of experience, and he knows, as he clearly knows, Teofimo Lopez is probably going to be a big threat, and he's preparing for that. He's like you say, I'm going 100% this time. He's letting people know he knows what is in front of him is tough. He knows, and he's preparing for that. And if it doesn't turn out to be that way, but fine. The thing with what I'm saying is these guys are not going to feel anyhow about anything. I see some people saying, well, Lopez, he's scared. Lomachenko, boxers ain't scared. And Teal don't got no respect for Lomachenko as he's supposed to be. Going into a fight, you can't be respecting a guy. No, you're going to fight this dude, right? And you're there to win. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Okay. Especially if you've been watching a fighter, for a long time or whatever. But I just wanted to factor in why he would be confident. He would be confident because Salido beat him. Slow, plodding Salido beat Lomachenko. I think people Lopez knows why. While a lot of you guys use excuses and make excuses with low blows and all of that, that's not the reason Salido beat him. Y'all can talk about the weight even, but that's not the reason Salido beat him. Okay? And that's a part of Lomachenko's history. And then the other thing that Teofimo Lopez has noticed, and he realized, and this is why Lomachenko knows this as well, is he's been touched up a lot more recently. Guys are hitting him. And there was a time when guys weren't hitting Lomachenko. Not at all, you know. But Gary Russell did get to him and he did hit him. And that did kind of determine who won the fight because they ignored the knockdown. It was a split decision win for Lomachenko. People forget that. People think that Lomachenko just routed Gary Russell Jr. He did not. Especially later on in the fight when the tide turned. Gary Russell Jr. was doing his thing. You know. So anyway, what I'm saying is that excuse me, I had a little reflux problem. What I'm saying is that Lomachenko, great fighter, okay, but it's not the same as Floyd versus Canelo. Somebody put another comparison: Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. I think it's more like that because Lomachenko literally has a Pacquiao-like style, literally, and he's not as old as Pacquiao, but how Pacquiao fought Thurman, reserved, much more composed. I think it's more like that. And I could see a fight where it's a close fight, but Lomachenko wins by split decision or unanimous decision because he got dropped or he got hit up. There certain rounds where Teofimo Lopez was just doing his thing. I could see that happening. And I also think that Lomachenko has a lot more power than people actually come to recognize. He just doesn't put full leverage into every single punch like Pacquiao, but he varies the timing, the rhythm, the speed of his punches. All right, so he can put it in. I notice he's a smart enough boxer to place those punches to the body. And I think if he can get that body work on Tio, start doing that early in the fight, but he's going to have to fight Tio more straight up, like he did Luke Campbell. He had to face Luke Campbell straight up. He couldn't do all of this, running rings around him, trying to go around him around. He had to fight. It was a fight. And Teofimo Lopez said chess match or fight. He said that for a specific reason. Because Tio, when you're facing a boxer, I don't care what kind of boxer he is. Marcos Maidana, what did he do with Floyd Mayweather? He made it a fight. You fight the boxer. Right? You fight the boxer. You box the fighter. Right? So Lopez, that's what Salido did. Old ass, slow ass Salido. He fought the boxer, but you got to use certain rules. You understand? So Lopez already understands. So Lopez got a lot of wisdom. You could tell just listening to him talk. He's a wise guy. Reminds me a bit of Keith Thurman when he was going into the Pacquiao fight where he had no respect for Thurman as well. And he was talking about knocking out, Pacquiao, and he was talking about knocking out Pacquiao. The difference here is that Lopez versus Thurman, he looks like he's taking this thing seriously. He's not eating any old thing. He's not just kind of dismissing Lomachenko as if he's nothing. He's not taking nothing for granted. It looks like he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's. And of course, the other thing, the difference between Lopez and Thurman is we knew what Thurman was. Thurman proved himself and all of that. And he showed us what he could do. And I don't know if Thurman's as good a boxer as Lopez. It seems that Thurman was improving himself. Whereas Lopez from the amateurs, we knew what he was. Thurman from the amateurs was known as a big guy with a big punch, and that's about it. But Lopez could do different things. Now, Thurman could do different things too. But I think the parallel is more like that. Okay? I think that's the parallel. And I wanted to make that point because I think as much as boxers grow and there's certain things that they know to do now versus when they were, I listened to Teofimo, and he's very, very wise in what he says. Like he said, What Lomachenko did in his past ain't got nothing to do with this fight. Just different styles. I'm a different opponent. You know how he's going to fight me. You know may not be how he fought Salido or whoever else in this past, right? Because this is a totally new fight for him, and for me, it's a totally new fight. And that wisdom showed me clearly this kid know what he's doing. Him and his dad. And I remember, you know what Lopez reminds me a little bit of? He reminds me a little bit of Danny Garcia and his dad. How everybody always counted out Danny Garcia. And his father, they had to be doing something right because Danny Garcia would come through. So, supreme confidence. This is where Lopez is coming from. This is where his confidence is coming from. All right. And having also been in the Olympics, having also been fighting Eastern European fighters of that style of Lomachenko, he would know about how to deal with it. So his amateur experience also plays a role, in the pros. All right. Now, with respect to confidence, therefore, I see both guys are very confident. I see Lomachenko was confident. He's not underestimating Teofimo Lopez. He knows what he's dealing with, what he has ahead of him. And both guys haven't fought in a while, so they're kind of on layoff. And this is what makes this fight great. This is what makes this fight great. You can ignore my prediction on the fight. The point of it is, it's going to be a great fight. This is the fight we needed. This is why I'm talking about it, right? No matter what you guys think, some of you guys think Lomachenko will win. Some people think Teofimo Lopez will win. I understand why that would be so. Now, I pretty much think that the betting odds are bang on. A lot of people saying, man, that robs Lopez. No, but Lopez ain't done much. He's not done much in the pros, right? So a lot of people, making this thing. No, he being a 3-1 underdog makes sense. It could have been a lot. He could that gap could have been a lot bigger. Because what has Lopez done in the pros? Okay, he beat a world champion. He stopped him. Yeah. But who else has he fought? Okay, he fought a former world champion southpaw, who was, at the end, he's kind of at the end of his road now, Diego Magdaleno. But other than that, who else? Right? You look at Lomachenko's resume. I mean, come on now. You got to be a madman to think that Lomachenko gonna lose to this kid. He's got a ridiculous resume. So it looks like obviously Lomachenko should be the favorite. I don't care what you say. He should be. Right? I can't understand why not. If Lomachenko wins this fight, he becomes undisputed. And he proves he's the best. He's the best lightweight in the world. And Teofimo Lopez, he was a world champion. Another world champion. An excellent world champion who goes on to become a Hall of Famer, all-time great, all of that, and Lomachenko beat him. Okay? That's what Lomachenko gets out of that. And he accomplishes his goal. So, why not? Everybody's thinking that's the way how that goes. Experience, supersedes youth. No matter how skilled you are, there's things the other guy has. He has knowledge. The question is, can he implement his knowledge? Right? So if he's athletic enough and he's healthy enough, he should be able to overcome. So I understand where people are coming from. But there is a if factor. There is what do you call it? An X factor in this whole thing. There's something that we're not factoring in because it hasn't presented itself yet. And this young kid, he be talking the talk. He just be talking the talk. He backing it up. And he's talking the talk and he's backing it up. And so when people say, he's backing it up, he's showing you, hey. So there's something going on in there that we're not factoring into the equation, right? And that's what I'm trying to present to people. Because a lot of people, when they heard about this fight, including myself, I was like, Lopez, all right, cool. Yeah. But he's actually a good opponent for Lomachenko, given all that has happened. It's not Lomachenko has decayed. It's his level of opposition has less and less respect for him like that. They were better and better prepared for him. And I'm watching that trajectory and I'm saying to myself, you know, interesting. Like nobody thought Jose Pedraza would beat Lomachenko. Why? Jose Pedraza was stopped by Gervonta Davis. But the man came back from his loss and became lightweight champion of the world. And Pedraza does have a tricky style because he switches stance all the time. And he fights you on the inside, he can fight you on the outside. Right? Why he's not considered a top guy is because he still don't have that elite conditioning. He still don't have that elite sharpness and angles, and he's not that kind of elite fighter in that respect. But he does have that elite championship heart. He does have that unique ability to do various things and change up and do various styles. Okay? It's just that Gervonta Davis blasted him out the water because Gervonta Davis is elite all around, right? It's just that there are levels to it. The reason Gervonta Davis get him out of there and he couldn't even stay in the ring with Gervonta, he gave him some problems early, was because he don't belong in the ring with Gervonta. You get the difference? If a guy don't belong in the ring with you, you're going to get him out of there. That's what it's saying. We're talking about levels in boxing. If he don't belong in the ring with you, you're going to beat him down for 12 rounds or you're going to get him out of there. That's what that means. There's no luck in this. So when we talk about the elite fighters, when we talk about the new school fighters, that's what we're talking about. Now, with respect to, I'm going to talk about another topic here: Deontay Wilder and Keith Thurman. I remember these guys used to chop it up and say, how they want to be great. And we're going to see if Teofimo Lopez, if he loses the fight to Lomachenko, if he would continue on the trajectory of being great. We'll see. But with respect to Wilder and with respect to Thurman, they used to talk all this talk about, facing the best and wanting to be great and go down into history as one of the greatest welterweights of all time, or one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Fight everybody. Now, I got a challenge for both of them. First of all, to Deontay Wilder, you still want to be great. You took your first loss. It was a knockout loss. You get stopped. Do you still want to be great? Do you still want to go out there and show that you are a great heavyweight in spite of everything that has gone on? Because do you have that drive to be great? That's the question I have for Deontay Wilder. Because you talked all that talk when he was undefeated. And a lot of great fighters, a lot of great heavyweights, a lot of great fighters have taken a loss. Not saying taking a loss is the way to be great. You don't have to. But you got to be on your game. You gotta dot your I's, cross your T's to become great and still not only never take a loss, but beat everybody. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. With Mayweather, he is unique. Ain't nobody doing that just like that. Ain't nobody. All right? But having said that, Keith Thurman, what's going on with you, Ninja? Do you still want to be great? The journey is not over. Do you still want to be great? That's the question I have for these fighters. Now, I know they may need tune-up fights because they ain't fought in a while or whatever, but at the end of the day, they was chirping like that. Strong and hard. I'm not hearing no chirping now because you got defeated. You are inherently, I believe, great fighters. But you got to show me something. A true champion can take a loss and bounce back. You know, show me something. Listen, Wilder versus Fury, I heard it's still on. Show me something, Wilder. Show me you are what you claim you are. So you lost. And you lost bad. And you lost clear. And you can make excuses for that. Or you could step up to the plate and focus on facing Tyson Fury and showing us you're great. Give us a good fight. And show us you're great. Don't tell us now, show us. Ain't nothing wrong with a boxer talking. But ain't nobody gonna listen to a boxer if he talking and he can't back up his stuff. Ain't nobody gonna respect him. Haters won't respect you even. Haters respect Floyd. That's why they trash talk him all the time, but they can't back up that trash. They can't back up what they say. They can't. He said he's TBE. They have no argument for why he's not. What they go into is, oh, he's arrogant, he's proud. But what he's saying is backed up by facts. He always says something that's backed up. He always, as controversial as Floyd is, he always have a reason for what he says. But you ain't got no reason except pure emotion and hate. Now let's go to Deontay Walker. They don't like him either. We've seen a lot of hate on Deontay Wilder. We've seen a lot of hate with Deontay Wilder, AJ, and even Tyson Fury. Why I say it's hate, because these guys, they get all up in their emotions, but they don't bring facts. They don't talk from a factual perspective. Now, Tyson Fury did do some things which were pure, borderline racist. And we can easily cite why that is so. That's as a person. But as a boxer, in a boxing ring, what you got against Tyson Fury, except the level of opposition he faced? He would fight a couple of duds in between fighting real fights. But some of them duds that we call duds wasn't duds. It just wasn't, they were undiscovered. They were unknown fighters we didn't know about. And so we talked out of ignorance, which we as boxing fans, that's to blame on us. A lot of people don't like to go and chastise boxing fans. Well, I'm a boxing fan, thank God. Even though I do a little bit of boxing, I'm a boxing fan. And I'm going to chastise the boxing fans. I'm going to do it for the professionals who they strap because they feel they need the dollars of the boxing fans. I'm going to do it for you. I'm a boxing fan. I'm going to do it for you. A lot of you boxing fans out there, are despicable. You're despicable. I'm gonna lash y'all. Y'all are despicable because, one, you don't know what you're talking about, and two, you're the biggest mouths spreading rumors and lies all the time. And it's one thing when you're being competitive and you're trash talking one another and you're having fun. It's the next thing when you're trying to derail and destroy careers of fighters because you feel a certain way about them. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But in no other sport, man, in no other sport, we got this level of ignorance about the sport. I never seen it. Even the guys calling the plays, as we like to say in other sports, the commentators calling the plays on the other sport, they may not call the actual play, but sometimes they call the actual play, right? But the guys calling the plays in the other sport are not so ignorant as some of these commenters we used to have. Who didn't even, a guy threw a punch. It didn't even land. It's like, right hand by this dude, Jim Lampley. God damn, why is he? I don't even know why he a boxing Hall of Famer. What, he did years or something? Just horrible. Horrible. And as a result now, UFC people and other people just coming into the sport and just start talking. They just start running them out. They don't know nothing about the sport. They're running them out. They started going rumors. A lot of the arguments against these fighters, like Deontay Wilder and even Tyson Fury, are out of the ring arguments that have nothing to do with their boxing. This is where we're going. We're gonna be little effeminate men doing gossip. That's what it's about. I thought this was a man's sport. I guess not. The women ain't doing better than us. I've seen some women talk about boxing, and they got better knowledge of boxing than us. That's shameful. Shameful. Y'all said it yourselves. Fans make a sport. So if the fans are, I want to cuss, but if the fans are ignorant of the sport, it's going to produce more ignorance. A lot of y'all just not humble. So y'all go on testosterone. I hear y'all talk some, man, shit. I wonder how the boxers be. The boxers probably be laughing. They have a comedy off of this. I hear y'all talk some serious mess. Serious mess on here, man. How do you do that? I know some of y'all be trolling, just having fun, but some of y'all say some really dumb stuff, man. And you serious. You not joking. I've been watching boxing for almost 40 years. Okay? On and off, but still almost 40 years. And of course, it's in the latter part of my life that I've learned more about boxing than I ever did when I was watching it. Some of you actually box. Some of you actually grew up in a culture where boxing was part of everything. You go in the gym, you do your boxing. It was something, especially in the 80s. My dad loved boxing. He loved Muhammad Ali. He actually boxed himself. He did a little something, something, right? He was a short fighter, so he had to, change levels to fight. You know, I remember having fun with my dad, be sparring and stuff, and I get to his body. I get below his punches, get to his body and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, I didn't know nothing about boxing like I know now. And the point behind it is, the more educated you are on something, the more you love it, the more you get involved in it, the more you realize how good it is for you. It's a very healthy sport because, I mean, especially if you're not taking punishment. But even if you are taking punishment, your health is like on a whole other level. You got to be so clean and pure inside and outside. It really helps you. You know what I mean? So my point being, anyway, that you fans, man, you guys are to blame for why this sport either goes up or down. You ain't nobody else. Okay? I mean, let me put it this way. I said it wrong. I said it inaccurate. Not just you. You're part of the problem. There's several different other people who are also responsible for why this is happening. But you're not excluded from it. And I'm not talking to all fans. I'm talking to the fans who go out there and say stuff that hurts the sport. Because when you attack the face of boxing, like when you guys attack Canelo, undeservedly, all right, you say, oh, he don't have no skill, he's a coward, blah 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 blah. All right, You can call him out on things. I call him out on ducking Charlo, and I call him out on ducking Demetrius Andrade. I call him out. I use the word ducking loosely because he didn't really duck him. He faced a future Hall of Famer, Sergey Kovalev. Okay, at a much higher weight, but sometimes fighters do that to ducking the fighters. They jump all the way up in weight so they don't have to face another guy, right? But the quality of opposition, I can't. The definition of a duck is to duck someone who is of a certain caliber, and then you go and face another guy who is of a lower caliber, right? We just can't say that about Sergey Kovalev. And then the fact that he jumped up two weight classes to do that, we just can't say that, right? It's really one because he was at 168 and 164, but it's still big. And my point anyway is he has not made an effort to face these guys. He's not made an effort to face Jamal Charlo. He's not made an effort to face Demetrius Andrade. I heard one boy say there was offers made to Charlo. I don't know how confirmed that is because Charlo said, I ain't know about that. Hold on a second. You getting that reflex, bro? Yeah. Backed up. That's sucker loose. I've been in the shade most of the day. Oh, that's fucking on forward. Yeah, that's why I'm not so eager to go out in the sun out there. I want to eat some. Just do something out there. But, yeah, y'all be tripping, man. Y'all be going in on Canelo like I heard some guys say, "Oh, he only fought old guys and he only fought old guys and washed out boxers, some shit like that." That's not true. Y'all can't be lying on fighters, man, to get your point across. And I've seen it in mostly black media where they've been like going in on Canelo. I don't know what is their story, but I shout out to Blue Blood and Dante's Boxing Nation, Key TV, you know. But guys, man, y'all be like going in on this dude like you just don't like him or something. I don't understand it. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand it. Dude faced Erison De Lara. He was not out of his prime. Okay. Dude faced Danny Jacobs. He was not out of his prime. You cannot dispute these two names, right? He faced Austin Trout. He was not out of his prime. Okay. He faced, okay. We could go with, Josecito Lopez. Y'all will say, oh, he was at a lower weight class. Y'all gonna make excuses. But Josecito Lopez always been a problem for everybody. Everybody. Whether he stopped or not. You know what I'm saying? He was not out of his prime. All right. Those are names. Okay. So I don't understand why you guys go in on this, on these dudes. Like, and the thing about it is, y'all talk about he faced Triple G outside of his prime, which I find is unfair because Danny Jacobs also faced Triple G. What do you say? Danny Jacobs didn't. Y'all give Danny Jacobs credit for facing Triple G. Y'all even talk about he beat Triple G, But when Canelo faces him, all of a sudden it's a totally different. I just don't understand it. I'll be honest. I don't understand it. A lot of you guys hate Canelo because one, y'all feel he was nothing because Floyd beat him easy. Okay. Two, especially the Mexican people was let down because they didn't feel he fought him, but he did. Okay, he fought him. It's just that Canelo's a clever boxer, but just Floyd was just a little bit more clever than he was. Always will be. Okay. No shame in that. Then he turns around. He faces Erison De Lara, and now the black community is like, look what Lara did. He did better than Floyd against Canelo, which is not true at all. It's just not true. And I argue Canelo won that fight. It was a close fight. Canelo had to come from behind to win it, but he did win it, in my opinion. But you could argue Lara win it. You guys got a good case that he could have had a rematch. Y'all had a good case for them having a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Because Canelo was afterwards like, man, he was running. I'm looking at Canelo like, dude, dog, don't say that. Like, you sounding stupid, you know? All right? So you can't, like, and then there's people now who just really mad because they Triple G fans to the core. It was all about Golovkin. But I predicted from several years before that Canelo was going to beat Triple G. I predicted that because of his style. And for the life of me, I don't know why. A lot of y'all fans just couldn't see that. Oh, Triple G is great. And they was overhyping, overrating Triple G. They likened Triple G to Floyd again. And they was trying to show that what Floyd do, Triple G do. Because Floyd's always the reference. Floyd is the gold standard. No matter what y'all say, you can hate him, you can love him, you're going to use his name's going to be in your mouth. I don't care if you're an OG or whatever. When you guys get over your emotions and you start looking at it analytically, you're going to realize he is the best ever. He is. Really, he literally is. And the things he has done is not going to just be done just like that. It's not going to be done just like that. But going back to what I was saying, and more and more people are beginning to see and speak the same thing I've been saying. You know why? Because when they get over their emotions and they realize Floyd is not in competitive sports like that, he's just maybe doing exhibitions, but he's not in competitive sports like that, he's not coming back, they're going to start to exhale and be like, okay, fine. So we're never going to see him get beaten. Okay, he the dog. That's when they will start to let go. But as of now, I'm seeing Pacquiao fans, they're trying to still push a Pacquiao Mayweather fight. I understand what they're doing. I get it. Okay. They try to get a rematch. They hope Pacquiao can beat Floyd. That would never happen. Not to disrespect him, but it is what it is. It's the Pacquiao fans to keep it alive and try to mostly Pacquiao fans right now who are saying, Mayweather, he's not TBE, and they fuel in the fire as well of the people who are detractors who say, well, Floyd never did this, and Floyd never did that, and Floyd never did this, and Floyd never did that, and so I understand and I respect it. I'm gonna go back to Floyd for a minute because he's the gold standard. Shout out to my boy Troy Killertainment. I've been watching your videos, brother. I love it. Every second of the day I learn because you did it, and I learn from you guys, right? I learn a lot from you guys, and I'm not saying you can't learn a lot from old school fighting, from Leonard and all these guys. These guys did some beautiful stuff, and you guys must go study it. If you into boxing, you cannot just be looking at the modern fighters. You have to look at all fighters because there's always something you can take and use in your game that hasn't been used for a while. So I'm not even trying to pretend like a black and white film and OGs are irrelevant. I never said that. Okay? All the modern fighters had to build from something. You have to have a connective tissue. And there are the old legends and the ones that are alive, you need to pick your brains. That's what Floyd did. Why do you think he went all the way to Panama to see Roberto Duran? He went to pick his brain for Marcos Maidana fight. And shout out to Roberto Duran, by the way. And he went to do business too. But shout out to Roberto Duran. Hell of a fighter. Okay? Just because I say and maintain that Floyd would beat him doesn't mean that he wouldn't learn so much by facing Duran. All right. So, all of this to say, Deontay Wilder and Keith Thurman You know, they say they want to be great. So I'm hoping that they will continue along that line of wanting to be great and still be hungry. And a lot of people still have this mindset that if a fighter loses a fight, especially gets knocked out cold, that that's it. You know, um, I remember Sugar Ray Robinson, you know, retired after he was beaten by Joey Maxim. You know what I'm saying? He retired. That loss was devastating for him. But Joey Maxim was a hell of a fighter. Those of you who know, he used to fight at heavyweight and he used to fight at light heavyweight. And he beat a lot of really good heavyweights and light heavyweights, and he beat a lot of really good fighters. You know, Jimmy Bivens. He beat Jimmy Bivens. You know what I'm saying? So losing to Joey Maxim should not have been shame for Sugar Ray Robinson, but you know, he felt like he was dominating the fight, beating the fight. He was winning the rounds, you know, outboxing Joey Maxim. But see, as with all things in life, you can't just get guys out of there. There's always going to be a guy that you won't be able to get out of there. And talking from a realistic perspective again, that's where Robinson fell short. You know, if he hadn't just tried to go for the gusto all the time and, you know, show that he was so great. Another guy who did the same thing and he paid for it was Jose Napoles versus Carlos Monzon. Napoles had an incredible amount of ability and skill. And he showed it. Tagged Monzon a couple times. But who was the more composed fighter? Joey Maxim was the more composed fighter. People like to say, oh, well, you know, Joey Maxim, because of his size, and he was getting our box. I'm like, and getting punished. And I'm like, listen, man, he was a more composed fighter. That's why he didn't faint off of a heat stroke. If he was taking such a beating like everybody's saying, well, but no, he had strategy. He had composed. He knew that Sugar Ray Robinson was faster than him. So what are you gonna do? What you gonna do against a fighter that's faster? When you get in the clinch and he wants to get some ear, what you do? That's when you work. You make him work in the clinch. When he's tired, you make him work in that clinch. You want to tire him out some more. You want to slow him down some more. How the fight finally end? Joey Maxim was landing body punch after body punch on Sugar Ray Robinson. He was just beating the shit out of him. He went staggering back to his corner. Those who watched the fight, not heard about the reported, oh, the heat stroke that he would eat. It was no heat. I know I was about to cuss again. It wasn't no heat. It wasn't no heat. Joey Maxim fought a better game plan than Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson was winning the earlier rounds. But Joey Maxim was biding his time. Working what he could work. Doing what he could and staying behind his defense. He fought the smarter fight. Jose Napoles versus Carlos Monzon. Monzon stayed behind his jab. Worked his pivots. Wait for Jose Napoles to slow down. Put a beating on him till he was knocked out. Skill, speed, testosterone, but you ain't smart. You won't get beat. Thomas Hearns versus Marvin Hagler. Hearns decided to fight Marvin Hagler's fight. Marvin Hagler came straight out, tried bringing the pressure on Hearns. Hearns had to box him. But instead of sticking behind his jab and boxing, he decided to just tee off with his right hand, and he started warring too. He could have slowed that fight down. He could have disciplined Marvin Hagler, give him some respect with one punch, and selectively use his feet, use his jab, and control him. Because he had those skills. He fought a dumb fight. For a dumb fight. We can learn from history the good and the bad. Thomas Hearns was not just a hell of a puncher, he was also a very good boxer. Behind the stick, Emmanuel Stewart's prodigy. That stick, baby. Keep that stick in your face. Against Benavidez, who could not avoid a stick at all because his hair was on the center line. Well-timed stick kept Benavidez at bay. Benitez at bay. Sorry. Benitez at bay. Alfredo Benitez. That's how Hearns won that fight. He outboxed him. Outboxed him. Benitez lived behind the stick. That's how he fought. Hearns was longer. Keep him at bay. Not saying that Benitez couldn't fight on the inside. He could. You know. Beautiful to watch. You know. You can learn from these things. The good and the bad. Back to Wilder. All these guys got beat. Wilder and Thurman. All these guys got beat. But they bounced back like true champions. And they showed why they were so great. So, with respect to Wilder and Keith Thurman particularly, fighters who I particularly like, I still like Keith Thurman, I still like Deontay Walker, even though Keith Thurman sometimes lets me down. I want to say, y'all said y'all want to be great. So longevity is part of greatness. Not just talking all this talking and all of a sudden you vanish from the sport because you lost. That's what I got to say as a fight fan. I'm riding with these dudes. I ride with Sean Porter. Sean Porter's lost a lot of fights. But he's always been a tremendous force in the welterweight division. No doubt about that. He fought everybody. He fought everybody except for Manny Pacquiao, who we don't know how long Manny Pacquiao won't stay in the sport, but he also fought everybody. You know, I always say, and I mean it, Pacquiao fought everybody. Okay? But he didn't fight everybody, if you know what I mean. He didn't. He even ducked some fighters at a certain point in time. But he ended up fighting them. Okay? Mayweather fought everybody, but he didn't fight everybody. Right? You know what I mean? We're not taking it literally. When we say he fought we're talking about every top fighter. Well, not Pacquiao. Pacquiao didn't fight every top fighter, but Floyd fought every top fighter while he was active. You go check him out. The only top fighter he didn't fight was Costa Tszyu, and the only reason he didn't fight Costa Tszyu because Costa Tszyu fought Ricky Hatton. But he ended up fighting Ricky Hatton. Every top fighter in his respective divisions he has fought once he was active. Always. So, I'm talking about the very top fighters. Pacquiao hasn't done that all the time. In fact, yeah. But Pacquiao fought everybody. Right? It doesn't mean literally he fought everybody, okay? A lot of you guys take too much things in boxing literally. He didn't fight every single fighter that was at, every single top 10 fighter. When you were, and this is another thing, I'm going to all kinds of topics now. I'm all over the place. But this is another thing that I hate when people say this. Hold on one second. A lot of people say Muhammad Ali, he fought everybody. Hold on a second. Let me see. Somebody seemed to be calling my name. Yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm cool. I'm just chilling inside. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm on a no home phone. Nope. It's 319-4788. Yeah. Right now on a stream here, a boxing stream, I just talk to people. So I'm talking to them. It's just a good friend of mine who's just passed through, and I'm just talking to them. You. I'm telling them about you. Yeah. It's a bright sunny day out here. I haven't been outside in a minute. Yeah, it should be 319-4788.
319.
Yeah.
309 I have here.
309? It's 319.
319.
Yeah, 4788?
No.
But yeah.
2852.
Nah, that's an old number.
Oh, okay. That's probably why.
Yeah.
When I call, so I had to edit it now.
Yeah, 319-4788.
Let me see how I'll get here.
I live in Trinidad, folks.
Yeah.
See how outside is? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boom. I don't want to put my friend on the internet.
It'll be raining.
Yeah, it'll rain in the afternoon probably.
Okay.
It's good life down here.
Edit. Right, so
It's Caribbean.
can't see.
Wonderful.
How to come.
Yo. Yeah. But I'm just going to go back to the stream here with these people.
Just let me just give this number here.
Yeah, sure.
I want to record it.
Okay, cool. 319-4788.
Let me see. Guys,
Ooh, look at this plant. You see how this plant come out nice? Now I turn it, you know. I turn this plant to be away from the sun. And see how it's trying to spring back that way?
Yeah,
Dope.
let me see, but
Yeah, it's called donkey ears plant.
let me see.
Yeah. Just haven't taken the haircut and shaved.
Let me take a haircut.
Yeah, I need to do a lot of
See,
things.
let me see. 3, 1,
Don't dial me.
9, 319,
Yeah, 4788.
4788.
Yeah, that's me.
Right.
That's me, baby.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I had this idea of making a mouthwash with
Yeah.
aloe vera,
Yeah.
right? And because a natural thing.
Okay,
And
cool,
you
cool.
put mint in it.
Can you make a toothpaste out of natural things too?
Suppose-
If you could do the mouthwash, you could do
Yeah,
the
you could
toothpaste,
do-
right?
Right, you could do a whole thing with.
You know why? Because the
Because I was
fluoride.
thinking of making they have a bandage
Yeah.
with the aloe vera in it.
Sweet.
But you know
Because the
that-
aloe vera
that
make it
paint on
nice,
one.
soft.
You know that the paint, you know the one that you could paint on. A bandage, you know.
What?
Yeah, it is a liquid. And
Okay.
you put it over the cut.
Yeah, and it's
And
sealed.
dry like a thing and seal it. Right, so they have all kind of things. But you know me, you know chemist. So
Hey man, how is it going with your last project, by the way?
which one is it? I can't remember.
The coconut.
Oh, that didn't go nowhere. Because
Professor?
it was supposed to go down to student project, and that was a whole such a thing that. Anyway, so
I'm gonna catch you later, man. I talk at this boxing thing with these
Yeah.
people.
Because here, no, just before. Anyway, I went to join the health center.
Yeah,
Up above the road in Uruka.
yeah.
I mentioned to the doctor I was coughing. But I was
Coughing?
coughing and bringing up. Like, I don't know if it's saliva, because what has happened is every now and then I get this thing.
You're drinking enough water?
Yeah.
I have
Also,
acid reflux problems too.
so I
And
have
sometimes
the
if I
acid
drink
reflux.
too much water, I could vomit it up.
Because I have the acid, the acid reflex.
That's what's affecting your heart and everything. So what you had to do?
Right.
Drink.
No, but this is something that happened. This only happened this year.
Yeah.
This was
I know you don't drink enough water. You know I know?
I know why.
Because you're too slim. But your skin will be like this. See how my skin is? When you drink water, that will firm up
Yeah,
and it'll get full.
because
Your face will get
I
full.
know I'm supposed to, when I go back home, now when I go, I walk around, I want to walk around a block and go home.
Yeah.
And then because I too inside, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
And then you have to be also careful
yeah.
with.
So anyway,
Yeah.
they wanted to talk. When they come to assessment,
Yeah.
right, I was no fever, good oxygen saturation.
Yeah.
What the doctor said, you won't mind doing 14 days. Big mistake I make.
Yeah.
Because up to now I get nothing.
You get nothing?
No, but the time when the last day, somebody used to call me every day.
Yeah.
He called me the day after,
Yeah.
and then the day after, the last day, and then I have the next 6 days to go.
What did you do this?
Right, and on top of that, then
So you was in the hospital all the time?
no,
In the-
no, I was home.
Oh,
So they give me a telephone number to call a ringer
yeah.
and to find out if any results coming up to now. But what happened? They give me another number,
Right.
and it turned out to be corporation office of health or something,
Okay.
right? And they so I talked to this, so they asked, so this person who was apparently is a doctor. What was the symptom of the cough? So I explained the coughing to her. Maybe 3 times a day is happening. You know what I mean? So she said,
Yeah.
she said the band feel good to go.
Yeah, you
Right?
need
So
to.
I use it as a facilitator for the
I was starting to cough.
gas.
Let me tell you 2 reasons why you'll be coughing, right? So when it gets cooler, the pressure gets lower in the atmosphere, which allows reflux to happen more. So you might feel an irritation in your throat, and then when you see your cough is a nasty, nasty cough. I had such a bad cough one time that I literally felt it was blood coming up, but it wasn't blood.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to drink water, and just I don't know what goes on with you. You fart a lot.
Yeah, well, since I started using the gas facilitator, I have less gas.
Good,
And
because
that is so bad that I couldn't even,
you see here,
I couldn't go nowhere.
you see here, and if you pay attention, you'll realize when you're feeling like you can't breathe, or you'll feel something here.
Yeah, I feel a chest pain. And I went to the
Right.
hospital with it already, and they told me yes.
Right, it's here. It's this doing all that.
Right, and then that
Because what happens is you build up a pressure here. You have all the gas here, but not coming out the way it should.
right, so this gas, I mean, it's a fast.
So I back it up here.
Right, so the gas and thing, it gone now. So these days it's not as bad. Yesterday I had a bad cramp. Right,
Muscle spasm. Yeah, cramp.
Not a muscle spasm, but you know when you get a cramp, a
Yeah,
belly cramp.
yeah.
But
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's as strange as it sounds, you still have gas in there.
I know I ain't saying that we have any
Yeah.
gas, you know, but so the acetylfetidine, you know, that
Acidified or whatever it's
that
called.
is right. So I'm cooking with it.
Cool.
Cooking with it in the food.
You know what could I use? You use turmeric and saffron still.
Yeah,
But what you could use is you use the black pepper with it.
yeah. Well, what I'm doing is what I call golden milk.
But you're still dry. So it don't really matter if you're using the saffron. If everything, but this is what happening down here. It stick up like this. You pass stool easy?
Yeah, well,
Super easy?
before, recently now, it's not as often like I was doing it before.
Yeah.
Right, because
Even-
sometimes I would eat, as soon as I finish it,
Yeah.
I had to run to the toilet.
That's good.
Right? As soon as I finish
But
it.
you poops all the day through?
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, not as often.
And you see where you're just in the house and you're not as active, you'll build up gas as well.
Okay, all right.
So all of them things I think is the reason.
Okay, all right.
But for me,
Uh,
like my heart used to just do so and just start to go getting real super waste, but it was really my stomach. I had a real bad stomach problem. I started pain all down here and stuff.
anyway,
But I good now.
right, but the pain I used to have, right? It
Yeah.
was so bad that I couldn't go out nowhere.
Yeah, me
I
too.
never get sick, you know, physically.
Yeah.
Sick and tired that I couldn't. Anyway,
And you had to be careful with this saffron. You can't use too much.
yeah.
Because it is also cause that. Yeah. Because it's an inflammatory amongst other things. So I would say to you to drink water. That's the key.
Yeah, no,
Tap water, bottled water, whatever.
Yes.
But you know what I did wrong? I told my mom, you had to drink a whole lot at once, and that is what caused her more pain. But you just sipping on water all day. Like I have my water right there inside.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
And I just exercise and do a
Right,
lot of
the
things.
golden milk is
See,
a
you
whole-
sweat already. Look all the sweat on your body. You need to drink more water.
Because when I go back home and do.
Because if I go out in the sun right now and I go for a 20 minutes walk or 10 minutes walk, I coming back. Look at my hand. Look how dry I am. Look how dry my hand is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dry out already.
Right.
And it have oils and stuff, but it's still dry. Look, you can see the marks of dryness there, right? You see the skin? See the skin? So I'm dry. And what happening is your lower intestines particularly is reabsorption of water for the body.
Oh, yeah.
So there will mostly be the part you do any enemas or anything?
No.
That's another way to kind of clean out your intestines a bit to free up the flow, because you have to find out if you just need to free up a bowel free up
Okay, all right.
to clear out. Because as you get older, remember, it's years and years of deposits of things. You remember stuff that actually stick
Yeah.
into the folds. So you want to kind of clear that out, free it up,
Yeah, so,
and you'll get more energy and all of that.
because
But I think your heart condition was caused by your stomach.
my heart condition is caused by because I'm prone to dental, what do you call it?
You got infection up here?
No, what do you call it again? Something dental. Something where you have problem with your teeth now.
Okay.
Just get like right now in the last couple of years I've been dentures.
Oh.
Because I lose a lot of teeth and then just not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah, the bacteria that's in there that's attack your heart muscles.
So let's call it
Yeah.
parodontal disease.
Okay.
Like the dentist say. Well, I'm saying that.
Okay.
I've substance so I had a thing where I brush it.
Keep yourself clean.
Yeah. Gargle the night before. The things.
Okay, cool.
So I try doing things, I mean. So come back to the milk, right? The golden milk. It's like a half cup. It was depending on the size of the cup.
Yeah.
Right? It was a small cup you could have, right? With milk. And then with a little bit of black pepper.
Okay.
No, if you have to if you're intolerant to milk, you could boil it. And if that is not good enough, put a little bit of jeera in it.
Cool.
And that would things if you know anybody else.
Me, I just keep it basic. So I don't really eat with a lot of oils or anything. I just drink water. So my thing is water. Look, Miss Clement, boy. Miss Clement! Just say hello. You don't have to turn.
What's the last name? I always forget.
Miss Clement.
Clement always.
You know I was Agnes.
Yeah, well, I think no, I forgot what the last name is.
So that's what I just suggest you hydrating as much as possible.
Yeah, I know.
Because your body is very, very dry. And let me tell you, it takes sometimes weeks to months to hydrate back. Because your body won't just take any water just because it's there. It might float around. It might even cause, you might see little things or pockets of water down below and stuff. So you want to just kind of drink water and just consistently do it. That's it.
I know because but I remember.
Simple.
I remember when I was in hospital, every week I had to go, possibly to go and do a angiogram.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah.
Right. So the night before, I had to drink so much water. After 10 o'clock, I can't drink no water. So
that's what I'm saying.
So things.
No, but water.
I know I should be. I don't know, but it's not. I don't know.
It's hard. To be honest with you, it's hard to do. Because, like, sometimes when I'm occupied with something, I'm not even studying.
When I go home, I'll drink that one, then just slice of pineapple. Right, and then later in the evening.
Well, but think, how soon you eat the pineapple after drinking the water?
I don't maybe right after.
Nah, man. You want to put the water in and then afterwards let the body digest the pineapple. So it's like 10-15 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right, and then later in the evening now.
Because I have my food there sitting down, but I drank my water before I even eat food. I drink water. Like, I'm really a water man. You see this man here too, Ken? He's a real water man. That's why he looks so good. And he could take the sun too.
I can't take sun.
Because you're dry. But as soon as you hydrate up, you walk through the sun like it's nothing.
No, heat, anything. When I was better.
Probably dehydrated then too.
That's my body type.
You'll be surprised what your body could do. But like for me, see how I was out in the sun. When I'm not out in the sun, oh my God, I go in that sun, right?
And especially now, not only that, but the heat.
Right.
The 33 degrees and 34, I think.
Yeah.
That right.
It's intense, but I think your body, because there's lots of guys who building and stuff, and they do it right in the sun on top of the roof, and they just bare back because their bodies adapt to that.
Right,
So it could be possible, but I just think that water is your key here, brother.
Yeah, no need to
Look, it's
I
simple.
boil water. So it's
Oh,
supposed
you
to
boil
be,
it?
no, it's
Okay.
supposed to be 7 glasses of warm water.
Ooh, you drink so much warm water?
That's how much you're supposed to drink.
Why?
But I don't know why I do. Like, so in the morning, the first thing I do is drink some,
Good.
right? And then later on, like, just before 10, overthink, and then last
see.
time when I drink it, then I haven't, when I lunch,
Yeah.
I would drink the same warm water.
Cool, but just don't drink it with your food, otherwise it'll again, it will act up. So you want to do it. You want to drink your water and wait a little bit and then eat food. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you eat and so on, but I don't use no oils. I just use natural oils, period. And these days, I, I like if I find it's too late, I'll snap. Meaning I'll eat something light. Yeah, and that's it. But it sounding simple, but the hard part about it is doing the water.
Yeah.
At first, it'll be weird because
No,
as you start to drink a lot more water, you just realize when you're dry because it tastes like right now I'm feeling kind of dry. My taste buds and my mouth feel a certain way. It's like very you can taste the extra stuff on it, and when gas started to come up, you just feel upset. Anyway, let me not keep you back,
Yeah,
bro.
no, I know you're on your thing that you.
Yeah, people hearing this conversation right now.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, man, bless her.
Yeah.
Stay well. Yeah, people. So I was saying about Wilder and Thurman. That's what I'm saying. Wilder and Thurman it's a as he said, water. I'm drinking water. Wilder and Thurman, man, gotta be great. And their careers are hopefully nowhere near over, unless I hear Thurman talking about retiring. You know what I mean? It's a struggle, I guess, but you gotta decide what you want to do with yourself. You know what I mean? So, I'm just saying, confidence is what we talk about all the time. When a fighter's undefeated, obviously they're gonna be very confident because they haven't been beaten. There's always gonna be that confidence inside of them. But for a fighter, and you guys can chime in, you can say a piece. You guys can see some part of my daily life. I be up and down doing all kinds of things. But for a fighter who has lost, you gotta ask yourself, where does he find that confidence to keep on going? And Evander Holyfield, Manny Pacquiao are perfect examples of that. Evander, I remember I interviewed Evander. Shout out to Evander Holyfield. We were talking about, he wanted to go through his career undefeated. Want to beat everybody, become undisputed, and he ended up losing. Well, after he took his loss, he still wanted to be great. He still wanted to face the best out there, so he kept going at it. One of the things, he got opportunities that other fighters didn't get, like Lennox Lewis, because fighters like Tyson and Riddick Bowe thought Holyfield was going to be the easier to fight dude than Lennox, right? Evander even says it. He says, yeah, they thought picking on the small guy like me, they thought picking on me would have been an easier fight. I proved them wrong. A lot of people say, well, why didn't Riddick Bowe face Lennox Lewis? Lennox Lewis knocked out Riddick Bowe in the Olympics. He stopped him. A lot of people don't know that. So, a lot of people say, oh, that includes resume. Why didn't he face Michael Moore? Why didn't he face George Foreman? He faced everybody. Like I said to you guys, um, facing everybody um, doesn't literally mean facing everybody. He faced all the top guys, obviously, because he got all of the belts. You know? But it does raise a what if, you know? A what if scenario. So it's fun for us as fight fans to speculate on that. But George gave everybody a tough fight. So I hope that Wilder and Thurman dare to be great, and I hope that they continue their careers with longevity in mind. Bernard Hopkins lost to Roy Jones Jr. Sugar Ray Robinson lost to Jake LaMotta. Willie Pep lost several times, but mostly to Sandy Sandler when he was a champion. Manny Pacquiao lost to Juan Manuel Marquez in spectacular fashion. Great fighters lose, but great fighters can win as well. You know? Ricardo Lopez never got beat. Andre Ward never got beat. Won all his fights. Right? Faced everybody. Right? So great champions. Rocky Marciano beat everybody. So Kawasaki beat everybody. Great champions can win all their fights. Right? Great champions can be undefeated. So let's not make it sound like, oh, well, only if you've taken the loss. I seen somebody put that up in the group. Then you're really a fighter. I'm like, no. I understand the sentiment, but you're a great fighter because you face great fighters and had great fights. That's it. You stepped up to the plate. You faced another great fighter. You had a great fight. Win, lose, or draw. It's not about winning or losing. I mean, you're a great fighter. But if you've lost in boxing, we want to see if you're truly great by how you come back from that loss. You see? It's not the losing that makes you great. It's the coming back from the losing that makes you great. You see? So, That's where a lot of fans they misunderstand that. Because the medal of the man is not in the loss. Even though he may have shown his medal in the loss, tough loss, whatever. That's not the medal of the man. Can you come back and be a winner? It's about winning, not losing. That's what makes great fighters great. Evander Holyfield showed it. Iron Mike Tyson showed it. Roy Jones Jr. showed it. Okay? Pernell Whitaker. Canelo. Okay? So, this is just from my observation of the sport. I don't know. I'm just talking here. Why can't Deontay Wilder? Why can't Keith Thurman? They got the goods to do it. The winner of Lomachenko versus Lopez. Moves on to bigger and better things. But there may be a loser. Right? It could be a draw. But it may be a loser. That loser can that loser bounce back? Can that loser bounce back? So, both guys are champions. Have the championship mentality. Both guys are confident, but what Lomachenko has, Teofimo doesn't have, is Lomachenko was able to take a loss and bounce back. True champion. You know. Loma has done that. He proved he can take a loss and he can bounce back. Can Teofimo Lopez do that? We don't know. Okay, thanks to the fan who keeps on watching my video. I don't know why. I'm just chilling though. Giving it unfiltered. The unfiltered presentation. The long version. You guys want to see the short version, just watch my videos that I prepare. I make them super short. Sometimes they're 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's the long version. If you don't like it, skip it to... I'm gonna do a short one on Lopez versus Lomachenko, but those short videos have so much in them that it could take me hours just to explain the simple little things I show. So you guys see the long-winded version of a 30-second clip. You know? Um, so this has been the live stream. I wanted to talk about those two topics in detail, and I went into it as much as I could. Ooh. And I gotta go take a haircut and shave and look a little bit more presentable. But in the meantime, I just wanted to go at length. Took about an hour and 30 minutes to talk this stuff out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you've been here and you're still watching and you like this video, that means you enjoy what I'm talking about. But feel free to always comment on my channel. Don't worry, I'm a guy who will engage you, and I'll give my take on things. You know, it's not always 100% correct, but you are guaranteed this. I'm going to come from some sort of factual base, and I'm going to use constructive reasoning to dissect and say what I have to say. All right, so that's basically it. Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko. Man, it's on, baby. It's on, like popping, like this one got some buzz. Hopefully, ESPN gets to get more views on this particular fight. Should have been a pay-per-view. All right. Hopefully they're promoting it as well as they can. You know, because this is a good fight. This is a very, very good fight. You know, we as boxing fans, we look forward to these kinds of matchups. And this is a good fight. This, you know, I would have preferred it with Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. But Lopez versus Lomachenko is not bad either, you know. And they're both top-ranked fighters. So that Lopez was smart enough to join with Bob Arum, sign with Bob Arum to get Lomachenko. That's why Devin Haney didn't get it. Because Devin Haney, he decided to go a different route. And Bob Arum was like, yeah, you never going to touch Lomachenko. It had nothing to do necessarily. It's all business, you know, at the end of the day. And yeah, it had something to do with Lomachenko also. Lomachenko also not necessarily wanting to face Devin Haney, right? He wanted preferably to face, you know, somebody who's much more accomplished. Devin Haney would have been a mandatory. He would have been a contender. He wasn't even a champion. You know what I mean? Loma, you know, Loma's up in the tooth in age. He's not that up in the tooth in age, but he's up in the tooth. You know, he wants now. That's why he was match hard. He wants to, you know, create a legacy in the pros. He wants to, you know, face names. You know, so Teofimo Lopez is a champion. Sure, I'll face Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So I like I said before, as much as I say that, you know, he ducked Devin Haney, he didn't really duck him. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Like, it's not a duck if you're facing Teofimo Lopez. Okay, so you didn't face Devin Haney. You got this franchise belt, but you facing Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? Right? Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, you know, come from the same school of boxing, you know, that kind of thing. Not bad. You know what I mean? And the good thing about it is that it's really unfiltered. The good thing about it is that you know, he's facing a guy of the new breed. He's not facing no slouch. He's not facing no Luke Campbell, and Luke Campbell's good. Don't get me wrong; has a lot more experience than Till. He's facing the best possible fight he can face right now. Okay, it's just what it is. Well, he could have faced Devin Haney or Tank, but Tank don't seem like he's interested in Loma. That's the truth. He don't look like he's interested in Loma. But Haney was interested in Loma. Teofimo was interested in Loma. They coming after him. They want what he had. So that's what makes it so interesting to me. You know, whereas people talk about Canelo wanted Floyd. Yeah, Canelo wanted Floyd, no doubt about that. Thurman wanted Pacquiao, no doubt about it. And the older heads prevailed. So it's not going to be surprising if Lomachenko prevails against Teofimo. It won't be surprising. But I'm just saying that these young guns, they hungry. They hungry. Now, will they stay hungry after what happens after Teofimo Lopez wins or loses or draws to Lomachenko? Will he stay hungry? What I'm hearing from Devin Haney, from Teofimo is, that's why he said he's looking through Loma. He's saying, look, I want to build a legacy. So if I beat Lomachenko, that's not the be all and end all. I'm not going to sit on that. I'm actually going to try and face other great fighters to be great. That sounds good. That's the language we want to hear. That's the kind of talk we want to hear. Because we want to hear about fighters who want longevity. They want to face the best. They want continuously want to challenge themselves and face the best. And if he loses, I'm gonna ask him if he still wants to face the best. I want to ask him if he is still challenged to do what he needs to do. Of course, losing is not even in his mind. But the point is, if he loses, will he continue on that trajectory, or will he be like Wilder and Keith Thurman? All of a sudden, we're not hearing from him. All of a sudden, we hearing all kinds of strange things happening. But did you take the responsibility upon yourself? You know, Keith Thurman seems to have taken the responsibility upon himself. He talks about a little bit about depression and stuff, which will happen when you lose a fight. We expect you to feel go a couple notches down. Okay, Adrian Broner talking to Danny Garcia. He tried to break it to him. Now, what happens is in the fans' eye, you look fallible, you look beatable, right? But you know what's the strangest thing with Lomachenko? Nobody's thinking that Lomachenko is beatable. It's one of the weirdest things. He just lost. He lost. But he lost the second fight, but he lost, which means he's beatable. Like a lot of people, I don't understand it. Like there's a double standard in boxing. With certain fighters, people just lose their shit and they forget all the other things and just believe the hype about it. I don't understand it. Gennady Golovkin. Right? I said Canelo looks unbeatable now, but he has been beaten. He's been beaten. He has been beaten. So any fighter going in that ring and they get too much respect for Canelo, he has been beaten. In fact, he has fought to a draw. He's fought to a draw once, I think. He drew. It's Gennady Golovkin. Yeah. He got a draw on his resume. Is he beatable? Yes. He's been beaten. So he is beatable. In spite of all his improvements and the way he's changed up his style, he is beatable. And I stated the fighters who I think could beat him. Right? So I say this to say there are good matchups for Canelo still because he's beatable. Right? Similarly, Lomachenko is beatable. So those people who are on the Lomachenko train and doing, oh, he's unbeatable. Nah, nobody can beat him. Well, Salido beat him. So stop it. And Salido was old and he was slow. And he beat him. He didn't even come in on weight. And he beat him. He beat him. It's on record. And you can't ignore it. I don't know ESPN wants to ignore it. And everybody talking about him being pound for pound and all that. I give him all the kudos for being pound for pound. But all that stuff not going to help you win a fight that you have in front of you. What's going to help you win the fight in front of you is your game plan and your application of the game plan. That's what's going to win you the fight. So I say all of this to give you guys caveats. I say all of this not saying that Lomachenko won't win. Even though my prediction is Teal wins by knockout within 5 rounds. That's a prediction, okay? It may not go any way like I said. It may not go the way that you say. It might end up being a draw. Anything can happen in boxing. Teal could show us that he could really box. Lomachenko is having difficulty with him. It could be an easy night for Lomachenko. Anything can happen in boxing. But when you make a prediction, try to base it on credible evidence out there. And with with me and with Andrew, well, let's just go with Andrew Ward. Forget me. With Andrew Ward, he tries to look at all the possible factors. Because first of all, when boxers go in the ring, yeah, they have trademark things they do. But there's a lot of nuance to what they do because the guy's different distance away from you. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with how the guy approaches his angles differently and so on. There's a lot of nuance to boxing. So to say that, Lomachenko might stop Teofimo Lopez. You know, it's possible. We've seen him have stopping power. We've seen him dominate fighters in the championship rounds. He dominated. He dominated Pedraza. He dominated Luke Campbell, even though it was still a chess match. In the final 10 rounds, he dropped Luke Campbell. He put the gas on it, and he really started going to work. So if Teofimo Lopez is not prepared to go full 12, again, Lomachenko is superior cardio, the work he's putting in, the shots he's putting in as the fight goes along, he might dominate. Teofimo Lopez might even stop him. It's possible. All right, we're not doing again. Oh, it's just absolutely an absolute impossibility that Lomachenko stops Teofimo. No, because this is that kind of fight, and that's what makes it good. There's a lot of things up in the air, and we'll only know when we see the fight happen. All right, and just because I said Teo might stop him by KO, Teo might win the fight by outboxing Loma. Who knows? It's weird. Or dropping him a couple times. And you will say, but Loma's got so much more experience that Teo can't outbox him, but you haven't seen all of Teo's game. So how do you know? You haven't seen all of his game. He's been disposing of guys that don't belong in the ring with him. Does Loma belong in the ring with him? Or is, that's the question. Well, everybody will say, well, absolutely Loma belongs in the ring with him. Maybe. Maybe not. This is a new era of fighters, like I said before. So we don't know. What we know is if Loma can take Teo's punch, it gets very interesting from there on in. It gets very interesting. So he must be able to take Teo's punch. And he knows that. He factored that in a long time ago. They're working on the conditioning to make sure he can take Teo's punch. So it can become a very interesting, intriguing fight. Right? No matter what else I've said about it. I'm just happy to see that a fight like this is happening. Very excited about it. As you guys should be too. So that's my take on the topics that I just had. I just hope that, because it's part of boxing. Winning and being able to take a win and losing and be able to take a lose. I know, a lot of people talk about, certain undefeated fighters in the pros. Every single fighter that is entered into the sport of boxing has lost. Every single one. There is no one in boxing as a boxer that has a perfect record when you consider the amateurs and the pros. Every fighter's taken a loss. Every single one of them. But did they quit? Did they stop fighting because of that? No. They persisted onwards. But a lot of people don't think about that. Okay, as a pro, Mayweather is undefeated. He's beating his opponents. But he lost in the amateurs. I think it was 6 or 7 times. He lost. But he continued onwards. And I say this to all the fans and young fighters out there. Okay? Most of you out there who are boxers will lose in boxing. It's not in your mind to do so, and you shouldn't be focused on that. You should be focused on winning. But in reality, the situation is most of you will go through a career where you will suffer a loss. Do not, because you suffer a loss, feel that the world is over. And for fans, when a boxer suffers a loss, do not feel that they're less of a fighter because of that. That's the problem. If you go into any other sport, sprinting, American football, American basketball, cricket, football, aka soccer, teams, not just individuals, lose. The greatest teams lose. They lose. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the sport. So losing has happened to every single athlete in sports. Every single one of them. So it's how you take the loss and then proceed, continue your career. There's no shame in losing when you've given your all. When you've given your all, there's no shame in it. You may lose in a spectacular fashion like Manny Pacquiao knocked out and be making memes all over the place. But he gave it his all. He gave it everything he had. Not just in the ring, but when he's preparing for the fight. There's no shame in that. You know what's shameful? It's shameful to see fans who never threw a punch in their damn life making fun of people who put their lives on the line. It's shameful. And you want to call them names. Nothing's wrong with that. If you're trash talking, knowing the truth, and you're just trash talking. But it's nothing when you're trying to tarnish their careers. Oh, Pacquiao was nothing. He didn't face nobody. Pacquiao's not great. How dare you say that? How dare you? Oh, he got knocked out, punched drunk cold by Marquez. He can really beat a peach. How dare you say that? And I know there are fans out there who are doing that because they don't like Pacquiao. And they don't like some of his fans. That is wrong. It's wrong. And that's what I'm trying to say. We as fans bear some of the responsibility for how our heroes, how the greats of our sport are viewed. It's one thing to tell the truth about them, factually, but it's another thing when we're tearing them down because we don't like them. How is someone who is not a hardcore fan of the sport? And I wish each and every one of you guys the best of health, best of strength in this season. We're coming out of COVID and we're coming out stronger, people. So I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.